Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and we've been getting this question quite a bit, and it's, how is it that at age 20 was able to buy this actually exact house? So I have this house as a rental property as of now, but it's really cool to be able to think back to when I was 20 years old and what led to my success in buying a house at such a young age. In this video, we're going to explain the 3 focuses that I had that helped me qualify to buy my first house at age 20 here in Gilbert, Arizona. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so for those that are not familiar with who it is that I am now, my name is Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I run the largest YouTube channel and I run the largest Facebook group for those who day trade in the stock market. And to put into perspective, I literally started my entire business from this very house when I first bought it. One of the reasons that I decided to buy a house out here is I'm not originally from Arizona. I'm originally from Orange County, California, born and raised. And I knew that I wanted to buy a house at a young age, but I knew the cost of living in California was much more expensive. So what I ended up doing was I applied to ASU, I got accepted. I moved out here and I had a really good job for the age that I was in California. I was doing telecommunications sales, so I was getting paid pretty well. And this is always something that I've shared, that I'm a big believer in stability, and if it was not for that stable income, I would not be where it is that I am today, and I would not have qualified for this specific house. So for all those that are always asking, what's one of the first things that you need to do? There is no question, at least in the markets that I invest and partake in, you need money to make money. And yeah, sometimes you might need a little bit less depending on how talented you are, but overall the concept is still there and you need money to make money. But at a very early age, due to how I was raised, I was a very frugal kid growing up. So when I started to make decent money, making around 45 to 50K a year, I literally saved everything. I lived at home at that time in California. I worked there for about a year, and then when I decided to move on over here to Arizona, I actually lived on campus at the ASU Polytechnic campus for about 5 months, since I, again, am not from Arizona. I moved here, and then the day of moving here, I had to find a place to live, and they allowed me to rent this off-campus housing in a sense. Horrible kind of bunker looking thing. Definitely was not the best experience, but it got the job done. It was my first time living absolutely on my own, and I had no family or friends here in Arizona. So all I really focused on was, again, going to school, and I ended up getting a job that I was setting up as I was still in California, working for Verizon, which is, again, another telecommunications sales provider. And then this one paid also pretty well. I started with a full-time job with Verizon. I was going to school full-time, and literally all my time was spent working. And I think that this played a huge role in my work ethic and why I was so focused, because I literally had no time for distraction. I'm not here to sell you this crazy sob story about why I was so driven. I literally just knew what I wanted. I knew that I had to put in the work. There was no other option, and I had no other distractions because I had no one here in Arizona. That simple. So I completely took myself away from the environment of where I knew people in California. I put myself in a position where I'm focused on school and work and the different things that I was doing to try to make money, and that was really just it. So there's 3 things. 3 main things that assisted me in allowing me to qualify for this house. So did I pay for this house that I bought at age 20 in cash? No. I qualified for an FHA loan, which then I refinanced to a conventional loan. But one of the first things that you guys have to understand when it comes down to qualifying for a home, it's, people are going to lend you money, or a bank is going to lend you money. They want a track record of income. It just makes sense. So there's no special way around that. In my opinion, you either have equity that you can put down, so cash, right? So it's an equity-based loan, or the way that I did it, which is in a sense a more common approach where you show a 2-year work history, you show your income, you show your savings, and then you show your credit. And that's really just it. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was, I have that 2-year work history. You guys know the job I had is telecommunications sales. I'm a big believer in, again, sales-based and commission-based jobs. If you guys would like to increase your income and are working hourly wages and don't like what you're getting paid, I think it's something that you might want to look into, as, again, I'm a big believer if you're very sales-driven, then the commission structure can be extremely beneficial if you, again, put in the hard work. But the second thing was my credit, right? I needed to make sure that, my credit history was there, and I did nothing special with this. I opened up through Bank of America a secured credit card. This meant that I was not qualified through any bank. I don't know why, but I've heard of some people qualify for credit cards as soon as they turn 18. I just continued and continued. to get denied. And what ended up happening was I went to Bank of America, I put a $300 deposit, right? Therefore I had to put $300. Then they ended up giving me a $300 credit limit. So really it was no risk for them. I did this for about 5 to 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, literally before I qualified for my house. And it built my credit score up to about 710 to 720, which then allowed me to qualify for a pretty decent rate on my first property. One of the last things that I want to talk about that I would say is the most unique about everything I did. Anyone can, open up a secured credit card and, pay it on time. There's no special hack or trick. I would use it all and I would pay it all every single time, on time, no excuses. When it came down to my job, I had a decent job. It was paying me around $45,000 to $55,000 a year, depending on if I was working full-time or part-time. I came from working part-time in T-Mobile to working full-time in Verizon, and this played a huge role on, when it came down to qualifying for this house, they want you to have a full-time job. And then again, that played a huge role on allowing my income to then support and allow me to qualify for this house. Now, one of the last things that they do take into consideration, or that maybe you want to take into consideration, is that you don't become like house poor, is what they say, right? That you're not working to pay your mortgage or pay your rent every single month. So what I did from a very early age was, again, I was making decent money, especially when I was living at home, and I had no expenses. I lived at home, my mom cooked home-cooked meals, and I know I was so blessed to be in that position. But I took it upon myself to, save every dollar that I had. I was a big believer in saving money and reinvesting it. I was buying and reselling phones. I was buying and reselling cars. I was buying and reselling things online. I was still scaling my trading. And again, I was being proactive with these different things that were, making me money. But the biggest part, the reason that I felt like these played such a huge role is normally when someone has a job and maybe their wage increase, there's a thing called like income inflation, right? So when you begin to make more, you begin to spend more. And that was never, ever, ever, even to this day. Yes, I do spend more now when it comes down to, comparing myself to 4 years ago, but it's no comparison to how much more I make now and to the amount that I spend. And that's the biggest thing that I think is the biggest disconnect for a lot of people, and where they begin to fall behind. It's the very simple things in life that I think people overcomplicate. And I knew that I needed a work history, right? So I got a job and I got it full time and I put in the work. I knew that I needed money, so therefore not only did I want to have a job that allowed me to save money, but I also wanted to make sure that I took that money, and my goal every single month was, with the money that I was making, to be able to make whatever I was spending that month. Therefore, everything that I was making from my job was not something that I needed to rely on or spend. It would go straight to my savings account, therefore, supplementing these different investment opportunities that I ended up partaking. And it's just a different way of looking at it. I was spending about $1,000 to $1,500 every single month. So I would take it upon myself that when it came down to buying and reselling cars, buying and reselling phones, buying and reselling things online, and trading, that my goal was around $1,000 to $2,000 every single month to make on top of what I was making through my normal job. And this really allowed me to continue to stay afloat. I think, if you're someone that is really trying to do well in life, it's very difficult to go from not making any money to becoming a full-blown millionaire. That's a very hopeful approach. But if you're not making any money right now, then maybe the first approach that you want to take is, again, you want to get the ball rolling, right? So start making money, start saving money, and from there, you learn so much as time goes on. And if it was not for buying this first house, I've been so blessed that I've gone through a total of 9 investment properties, range anywhere from $100,000 all the way up to nearly $1 million. And it is all because of what I learned from my first buying experience, which is this house itself. Although it didn't look like this when I first bought it, we've remodeled it and we have the guys living here now, but it's been such a blessing to learn from what I've done well in, and also the mistakes that I've made, as I've made so many. I wanted to share with you a very simple video about that. It doesn't take anything crazy to buy a house, or it doesn't take anyone special to just simply do a little bit better than your average person. All it means is that you have to have structure in your life. If you really want something, then you have to put in the time and go for it. And anyone can come up with any excuse. And I know that we all start from different foundations, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one simple idea, and it's how much do you want it? If you want it, and if you want it more than anything, then you will make it happen. And that's exactly how it all began, right? One house led to another. I ended up buying my neighbor's house, and then I had, more of our buddies move in there, and we built our team from there. Now I have a house that I live in that's nearly 6,000 square feet, 8 rooms with a movie theater room, and I am so blessed. But it's because of what I've learned throughout the years that has really allowed me to flourish within the series of different markets that I partake in. But again, you don't need to do anything special. Those are just kind of my ambitions and markets that I partake in. But I wanted to share with you about how simple it is, or it can be, for you to buy your first house. But it's with very little simple things on a consistent basis that can lead to big results. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. I would love to connect if you guys would like to. So I'm going to leave 2 links down below. The first one is for our free Facebook group. Feel free to join and ask me any questions that you might have if you've ever wanted to get into day trading. And on top of that, I'm going to put my Instagram. Say what's up, send me a DM, let me know if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions that are not already answered on Google or that you can search yourself, then again, hit me up through direct message, and I'd love to connect with you guys. I really do appreciate your guys' time. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. Wish you guys an amazing rest of your week, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.